Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, Retired and Loving It. I'm Terry.
And I'm Keith.
And today, we're finally finishing up the Indiana Cave Trail. Today, we're at Bluespring Caverns.
We're so excited to be here at Bluespring Caverns. Thank you for joining us today.
Welcome to Bluespring Caverns, Bedford, Indiana, home of limestone and astronauts.
And I'll be your tour guide today. I'd like to welcome you to Bluespring Caverns. Please do not touch the walls or the formations that we're going to see along the tour, because the oils in your fingers can actually stop them from growing.
This was some incline we had to walk down. They recommended closed-toed shoes, and now I see why. And of course, I wore flip-flops.
Stop right here to go over a little bit of history of the cave and the entrance behind me. If we're actually standing right here any time before March of 1940, we'd actually be swimming. This whole area around us is part of a large farm pond owned by a man by the name of Geological. And in early March of 1940, we had 5 days of very heavy rain, and that heavy rain built up on top of the pond, and all the extra weight from it pushed through about 3 feet of limestone right down here, revealing the cave below and completely draining the entire pond in one night. I'm sure you guys can imagine George's face when he woke up the next morning to realize that he no longer had a pond. And so he let 5 local explorers go down there and explore it and map it out. It took him about 8 years to map out 19 miles of this cave system. But today we know of 21.8 miles of this cave, and we're still even finding more to this day. So it is a pretty big cave system. And along the tour you guys are only seeing 5/8 of a mile. So a very, very small fraction of what the cave really is. In 1974, some of the original explorers that mapped this cave out decided to give their own boat tours. We opened up and named this cave Bluespring Caverns, and we've been giving boat tours ever since. It's the area where the sunlight is still leaking into the cave, and it allows us to see a little bit. If all these lights were off, we'd still be able to walk around and make our way through the cave because of the sunlight. And then if you look above you, all these rocks hanging from the ceiling, we call these stalactites.
And we keep walking down an incline. All I'm thinking is when we get out of here, we're gonna have to walk back up this thing. And he loads us onto the boat. It was actually kind of eerie down here, almost like you were on another planet or in another world.
And we've just set sail on the longest underground navigable river in the entire United States. This whole tour that we're about to go on is about 5/8 of a mile. And so the distance total, we'll be going about 1.25 miles total because we have to do the same leg on our way back. You can see some more of the stalactites that we have, some of these formations. We call this one the moose head.
I normally don't feel claustrophobic in caves, but this one felt a bit closed in to me, I guess because the ceiling was so low.
And you may need to watch your head as we go underneath some of these low-hanging stalactites. I'll shine my light on them so you can see them too as we go underneath them. Again, I know it's tempting to please don't touch them. And you guys notice anything kind of weird about those stalactites? Yeah, you notice how they're flat on the bottom. They don't come down to a point. That's again because the company that owned this cave before we did, their name was Inner Odyssey, and they realized a week before they opened that they couldn't fit their boats underneath those stalactites. So they came down here one night and broke them off with sledgehammers and took away about 1 million years of growth. And those pieces of the stalactites are actually still at the bottom of the river to this day. And if the water was clear enough, you'd still be able to look down into the water and see them.
You can actually take an overnight adventure in this cave. You walk, crawl, and climb through an undeveloped part of the caverns that's not seen on the regular tours. The camping experience is 100 feet underground in Canyon Hall, high above the Mystery River that we're floating on right now. That overnight adventure would be a no for us. Even though we love caves, we would not want to spend the night underground. Even though it's kind of eerie down here, it's eerily beautiful as well. This underground boat tour was 1 hour. It was definitely the longest we've been on the water underground. They also have a 3-hour tour where you can kayak down this river.
What makes that spring look blue?
The concentration of magnesium in the water. So if I turn off that backlight, if you look into the water, you can kind of tell it has a dark blue tint to it. And that's because of the magnesium. That's why it's called Bluespring Caverns, because it looks like this dark blue color whenever it exits. Bedford, Indiana is actually the limestone capital of the world. So we have more limestone per mile than anywhere else on the planet. Here for a second. Did you notice anything kind of weird about this section of the cave that we just went down? Very straight passageway, there weren't very many turns at all. It's actually a 600-foot long passageway that we just went down, called the Straits of Gibraltar. And it's like that because there is a lot of sandstone in that area. And sandstone is a very weak form of stone. So whenever the river was running right up here, again where my shadow was pointing in this little crack in the ceiling, this is called the lifeline of the cave, and it's where the river used to run millions of years ago. As it was flowing through there, it could very easily eat through all that sandstone and left this really nice, long, straight passageway. And this is a pretty interesting part of the cave, I think. If you look over here, you can kind of tell this is how wide the river used to be, this big crack in the ceiling. But then you can kind of tell the history of the cave along here as it's slowly getting wider and wider along this wall. And now it's eventually wide enough where we can take a boat tour. One more quick fact about this area is actually the deepest point on the tour route. Right under here against the water in this area is the deepest part of the tour route, about 21 feet deep.
Are there any splits in this lake that one would go to the left or go to the right, or is it all one main vein?
No, once you get there's actually a map of the entire cave system in the gift shop if you'd like to look at, kind of an extensive version of it.
Yeah.
But along the tour route there isn't any branching paths, but once you go farther into different sections, there's actually even a section called the maze, which is just a bunch of winding passageways that all lead back to each other, and so there's lots of different places where it does branch off, but not along the tour route. And we've even had floods so high that the water has filled this entire passageway up. This is why. I'm a pretty good driver, but I still don't think I could fit through here. Unless you want me to try.
No, you cannot fit
I'm
through
going
it.
to. But this is how we get to the rest of the cave system. Roughly 18 more miles on the other side of this small passageway. You can feel a little bit of a breeze from there as well.
And now the boat has turned around and we're going back the way we came.
Again, as we go down this section, the Straits of Gibraltar again, this is a 600-foot long passageway. You can see how far, how straight it is. Again, this is formed because of all the sandstone in this area. That's why the bottom of this cave, or at least this section of the cave, is very sandy. You can't quite see the bottom that well because of flooding recently. We actually had a flood last Friday. And it washes up all the mud and sediment off the bottom of the river. And then it kind of makes it hard to see. Normally you'd be able to see the bottom very well in this section. I'll try to communicate with you. Ready? Marco! Ahoy, matey. Ahoy! You guys trust him? I don't even know that guy.
Sandy bear.
Only a couple cave sharks.
Cave shark. Ooh, how about that?
We had actually made plans to tour this cave a couple different times, but each time it had rained the night before and the cave was closed because it fills up with water if we get too much rain.
Here's the elephant's head again, the largest stalactite that we have on the tour. And then you may need to deduct your head just a tiny bit, go underneath these little ceiling areas. Now we've almost made it back to the boat dock, so I will ask you guys to do me a favor. Don't stand up before I tell you to. I'll let you know when it's right for you to stand up and start unloading on the boat.
Back up that incline we go. It was harder going up than it was coming down. We didn't feel too bad though. There were people a lot younger than us that were huffing and puffing and having a hard time getting up this incline. We took a quick walk through the gift shop and found all the usual things you find in a cave gift shop. We particularly liked the map on the wall of the river that we just floated down. It gave all the details of where we were. We meet new friends wherever we go. You could even mine for gems right there on the property.
Can you show me what you got?
I got this. I don't know what it is. I got this clear one.
After the cave tour, we took a little hike around Indiana's largest sinkhole. It's the largest karst plain sinkhole in the state of Indiana. It's over 90 feet deep and it covers 10 acres. And again, why did I wear flip-flops? Not the greatest footwear for this little hike. Because of all the vegetation, it was hard to see down in the sinkhole, but it was kind of cool knowing that we were walking above where we just rode in a boat below.
Now
Now it looks like we're gonna climb back out of this thing. Uphill climb. There it is, sinkhole. Look, I see looks like an opening of some kind of cave down there. See it? Spotted some kind of little critter hole. And here comes Keith up the hill. We're climbing back out of this thing now. And all along the path, we saw these little sticks with numbers. And I said they should have some kind of a guide. I bet that's marking places. And sure enough, when we got back, we found by the sign, they had a little guide that you were supposed to take with you on this little hike. So we missed all the points of interest along the way. So if you ever take this path, be sure to get the guide before you go. And we begin to climb out back into civilization. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us today on our last leg of the Indiana Cave Trail. We even got a t-shirt. How cool is that? Thanks for coming along with us.
Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and press that subscribe button right down here. Give this video a big thumbs up, and thank you again for joining us here today.
We'll see you next time on Retired and Loving It. If you'd like to see more of our videos, click the video that just popped up on your screen.